What's going on, guys? FlyBy Simulations here, and welcome back to yet another video on the channel. It's been a big week in the Microsoft Flight Simulator world, with the first major MSFS 2024 update finally here, patch 3, version 1.2.7.0. Today, we're breaking it all down, the highlights, the fixes, and the features that are bound to make your sim experience smoother and more impressive. Personally, for me, I've seen a bit of a smoother experience in terms of FPS, as well as on the eye test side of things, and I've also seen many visual fixes that we're going to be talking about today. On top of that, we'll also be talking about two exciting add-ons making headlines this week, the FSLabs A321 CEO, which finally makes its debut for MSFS 2020, and the iniBuilds A300-600R Premium Edition, now updated and compatible with MSFS 2024, and all of the bells and whistles that comes alongside that. So whether you're here for the updates, the new planes, or just to hear me ramble on about the sim we all love, hopefully we all love, you're in for a treat. Oh, and before we jump in, a quick disclaimer, my voice might sound a little off today because I've been battling a cold for the better part of a week, but hey, the show must go on. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's get started right after this quick sponsored segment.
Now, long-term viewers of the channel might know that I'm not much of a bush pilot or GA aircraft flyer. I love flying large airliners, which usually involves long periods of time where I put the plane on cruise and just kind of sit there. So instead of rotting in front of my monitor for hours on end, I prefer to go out and do things, whether it may be a run, doing my laundry, enjoying a meal outside, but there's always that lingering feeling about how my flight is doing, whether it's all peaceful or if I'm in an uncontrolled nosedive about to kill all of my passengers. Well, with today's sponsor, Awesome Remote, you don't have to worry anymore. Awesome is a free-to-download application software from macOS, Windows, and Android that allows you to remotely control your PC using your phone. As can be seen here, I can monitor my flight, control the cameras, and even move things around as needed without having to be anywhere near my monitor. As a content creator, I get great peace of mind when I can monitor the status of my video being rendered on my editing software, and having the ability to upload videos to YouTube without physically being at my desk or computer is an absolute godsend. The app does allow keyboard customization as well as mouse support, and can also support games up to 144 FPS. Once again, that's Awesome Remote, and you can find out more by clicking on the link in the description section of the video.
Alrighty then, folks, let's start by talking about the star of the week, patch 3 for MSFS 2024. Now, if you've been dealing with crashes and stutters or just random annoyances since launch, this update is going to be a bit of a game changer. It has at least been for me, but the one piece of advice I'll give you before you update to this version is to actually reinstall the sim. So if you're on Steam or if you've bought the sim from the Microsoft Store, I would say go ahead and delete the 7 to 10 gigabyte file that is the base sim and reinstall it. I think it really helps with every single one of these patches, especially in the infancy of the sim, which it's currently in. So the first thing that this patch has actually helped with is stability and crash fixes. So if you remember those random crashes while switching views or closing the sim or during career missions, well, they're all pretty much gone for me. The career mode is still a little bit buggy, but it's definitely not as bad as what it used to be before the patch. On Xbox, memory-related crashes caused by WASM-enabled aircraft have also been significantly reduced, a huge win for console simmers. A lot of people were having out-of-memory problems. That seems to have gone now. There's also now a safe mode, which is the highlight feature with this update that disables potentially problematic content like community mods or marketplace add-ons, making recovery from crashes much easier. Now, by marketplace add-ons, I don't necessarily mean the marketplace is working. That is still only going to be coming in early 2025 as of Microsoft's latest updates, but if you do have broken scenery or non-backwards compatible aircraft in the community folder that have been causing your sim to crash or misbehave in any way, you can now manually turn it off using the My Library function, or if it does crash your sim entirely, when you reboot into the sim, kind of like MSFS 2020, MSFS 2024 will now boot in a safe mode that disables all of the community mod add-ons, so you can go one by one and kind of isolate the issue. Another thing that's been improved is that the startup times have now been optimized, and that annoying bug where mismatched client and server times caused long loading times has now been fixed. You can now load up the sim without grabbing a second cup of coffee, which I have done multiple times. There's been a few fixes here and there trying to get you to change your date and time settings within Windows to actually make the process a little bit faster. I'll leave a little link to the FS Elite article that talks about this down in the description section of the video, but with this particular update, the loading times have been fast both within the sim as well as in the beginning of the sim as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. Next up, of course, is graphics and visuals. Now, personally, the biggest change for me here has been the lighting at night, especially runway lights. They have been adjusted to look much more realistic. The blinding bloom that you saw with some of the taxiway lighting, as well as some of the lighting both outside the airport as well, has been really fixed. I think it reminds me now of MSFS 2020 lighting a lot, but it does have those point source lights that MSFS 2024 has introduced as well. So I think it's a good balance, and I think a few more tweaks over time, especially to the texture maps of the night textures from large altitudes, will be welcome, but that's going to be in the future. Object popping has also been reduced significantly, which means no more trees or buildings suddenly materializing like magic as you fly past. Now, a pro tip here, if you are using the default textures, is to use a rolling cache of at least 30 to 60 gigabytes if you have the space. It'll further smooth things out because you're giving enough space for the sim to actually download important textures and airplanes and scenery files that it doesn't have to keep reinstalling them from the cloud. Now, the reason I said if you are using the default textures is because I personally use the free map enhancement mod, which is significantly better, especially in terms of LOD and how clear the textures are from large altitudes where I usually fly with airliners. The map enhancement mod is available on FlightSim.2. The link is down in the description section of the video. It's absolutely free, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just feel like it's a very good solution because it does include the latest Bing Maps imagery, and everything seems to be very high LOD. Of course, for Xbox simmers, this isn't something that's available, so apologies for that. And finally, the next big feature is the My Library overhaul that I spoke about. So this update also does bring us a new and improved sort of add-on management system. You can now enable or disable individual pieces of content from your marketplace purchases. No more conflicting mods messing with your sim, and you can go ahead and isolate specific add-ons to your pleasure. What this also means is that if you have a particular scenery file like an airport or something like that which conflicts with the default airport produced by Microsoft or Asobo, you can go ahead and disable either the actual mod that you've downloaded or the actual default file from Asobo so that your mod can actually function as well as expected. Another one of the standout parts of this update is how many aircraft improvements it brings. Nearly every aircraft in the sim got some love, but once again, I can't include every single one here in this video, so I've included the 3 most important ones that I feel are going to make the biggest difference for me. I've of course left the entire changelog down in the description section of the video as well for you guys to read if you do want to. So the first aircraft that I feel gets some love is the Boeing 737 MAX 8. There's now new liveries for Alaska Airlines, Aeromexico, and Korean Air, which provides a little bit of variety if you are planning to fly those routes, especially if you are on Xbox and you can't necessarily download liveries like we people on PC can. Issues with the APU, tire animation bugs, and cabin LOD glitches have all also been addressed with this aircraft. Speaking of Boeing, the Boeing 787 Dreamliner has also now gotten a fully integrated electronic flight bag with added takeoff and landing performance tables, which obviously improves the functional capabilities of this aircraft. It is of course a premium deluxe aircraft, but I've been looking forward to flying this for a while now in MSFS 2024 because I've been sorely missing the Horizon Simulations mod in MSFS 2020. But with these additional tidbits trying to make this aircraft more functional, I am excited to see where it goes. And finally, for you GA lovers, the Diamond DA62 is another one of my favorites. There's been LOD updates and improved deliveries that make this GA plane even more enjoyable now. There's also frost and dirt textures, which was pretty interesting to me, that have been polished for added realism. So some of the Asobo and Microsoft aircraft in the sim actually have the capability of building up dust and frost and icing effects, and that effect has been polished with this aircraft as well. So go give it a spin in some winter ops if you like. Now, if you've been grinding away in career mode, there's also plenty of mission fixes in this patch too. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Once again, there are too many to count. Check the link in the description section of the video as I said, but helicopter missions now validate retrieval targets properly, medevac missions have now fixed audio issues and tracking bugs, and XP rewards overall have been recalibrated for more balanced progression. That's something, if you guys haven't started career mode and if you've been waiting for some, updates to kind of fix it, then now might be a good time to get started on that. Plus, career mode turbulence and wind issues that we did discuss in last week's episode have also been toned down significantly, so your passengers won't feel like they're on a roller coaster ride every time you do a VIP charter flight or something like that. And that all being said, those are the major updates from MSFS 2024's latest patch. Next up, let's do an add-on spotlight and talk about 2 new add-on aircraft coming to the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator. simulator. A release that's been highly anticipated, but at the same time also questionable, is the FSLabs A321ceo. A large part of the community really swears by FSLabs, and suffice to say, a large part of the community really hates what FSLabs did with their malware scandal, but their A321ceo is now out on the market for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, not 2024. The A321ceo comes with 4 variants, which includes the sharklets and options for CFM or IAE engines, so basically everything is covered. FSLabs has of course gone above and beyond with a new fly-by-wire system tailored for this aircraft. There's also realistic GPS jamming, MEL adherence, and a fully modeled circuit breaker panel, which all make this add-on a must-have if you are a dedicated, hardcore Airbus fan. I don't think the Phoenix A321 simulates realistic GPS jamming or a fully modeled circuit breaker, so if you really want to go above and beyond, that's what FSLabs does, that's what their reputation is in the market, this might be a good option for you. Now, the price for this bird is going to come to $70 US. It's definitely not cheap, but it does include a free upgrade for MSFS 2024 compatibility when it does become available for the new sim. So considering the level of detail, I still don't think it's worth it for me personally. I mean, I'm happy to make a video comparing the Phoenix A321 to this one. If you guys want to see that, do let me know down in the comment section below. But personally, if you have the A320 and if you're just upgrading to the A321 on the Phoenix side of things, having all of the Phoenix add-ons come together with the same type of EFB, the same type of texturing, livery manager and everything, I think that just works out better for me. I think FSLabs really just kind of lost out because they took too much time. But I do know a lot of people do swear by their sort of functional accuracy. So if you guys are one of them, there's plenty to be excited for. Next up, we've also got the iniBuilds A300-600R Premium Edition, which is an upgrade designed to take full advantage of MSFS 2024's features that was just released yesterday. So what's new with this particular update? Well, as I said, it does take into account all of MSFS 2024's latest bells and whistles, so it does have enhanced aerodynamics. It's got an interactive pre-flight check mode and improved ground handling, which all make this a significant step up from the previous version. I've tried to fly this. I did a cold and dark setup on this aircraft just today, and I do have to say that it does feel very nice and refreshing to get back into flying this aircraft in the new version of the sim. There's also a new sound design and EFB enhancements, such as a landing performance calculator along with the takeoff performance calculator that was there before, which all bring the added immersion and functional improvements that personally make this aircraft a must-buy for me personally. Now, upgrading from the original version costs £9.99, while new customers can snag it for £45. It's a fair price in my personal opinion, unlike the A321ceo by FSLabs, because you are getting quite a bit of added functionality and MSFS 2024 compatibility out of the bat. There's not a lot of aircraft that are FS 2024 compatible yet. You know, the Phoenix even is on its experimental branch, but the fact that this aircraft is completely compatible with MSFS 2024 makes it the first, and for £45, I don't think it's the worst shot ever. So if you're looking for a solid wide-body freighter or passenger jet, this is definitely one to keep on your radar, and it's now available through the iniBuilds store. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, everything you need to know about MSFS 2024 Patch 3, well, everything that I could pack into this video while still keeping it relatively succinct, plus 2 new fantastic add-on updates in terms of aircraft to explore for both MSFS 2020 and FS 2024. This update personally is a big step forward for the sim, and it's exciting to see how third-party developers are indeed pushing the envelope with their add-ons. I personally think MSFS 2024 is in a really nice place now. I don't seem to have many problems with it, especially after a couple reinstalls. I think it's getting annoying to have to reinstall the sim every time, but it's good to have a thin client so you're not having to reinstall 150 gigabytes every time. It's only about 7 gigabytes, which takes me around 10 minutes to do every time. But I really like the direction the sim is heading in, and hopefully when we have a little bit of stability, we can also start getting some more features in the sim. But I do want to know what you think as well. Have you installed the patch? Are you grabbing the A321ceo or the A300 Premium Edition? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, when you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from the channel. As usual, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.